If labor starts at night, go to bed. Go to sleep. Even if you're only sleeping between contractions, get that sleep. That's what early labor is meant for. Go to bed. First-time moms, I'm talking to you because second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth-time moms already know that. So first-time moms, go to bed if your labor starts at night. Hi, I'm Kayla Heater, follower of Jesus, wife and mother of 5 children, Christian childbirth educator and doula, and your host of the Surrendered Birth Stories podcast, where we share God-centered birth stories, evidence-based birth education, and our pursuit of surrendering our birth plans to God. Let's get started. Well, hey everybody, and welcome to our 100th episode. What a milestone. I can hardly believe that we are here. We have hit 100 episodes. We've been at this for almost 2 years. It is wild to think of. I mean, I can just remember a few years ago, I was walking around in my backyard listening to something, just like with a cup of coffee in the winter. It was like January or February, and just dreaming about this business and birth and what God was going to have me do and what I felt like the next step was going to be. And this podcast is what he really spoke to me and laid on my heart. And then it was just, one thing after another, planning, prepping, getting ready. And we launched, I think that Labor Day. So however many months later, and then here we are, episode 100. I know there are podcasts out there with like 500 episodes or 1,000 episodes and whatever, and maybe one day we'll get there. But I am just grateful and excited that this humble little podcast of ours has reached 100 episodes. So I'm just excited. And now, you probably saw it in the title if you looked at it, but I did a poll on Instagram and asked what you guys wanted this episode to be about, because we like to do, special different things for milestone episodes or holidays or things like that. So out of the 4 choices, which were a birth story or a Q&A episode or 100 quick birth tips or other, and you could have sent me your own idea, by, I don't want to say a landslide, but definitely by majority, 100 quick birth tips was the most popular choice both times that I did the poll. So I did the poll twice, and both times, and different people voted both times, and there was 100 quick birth tips was the winner. So that is what I've been prepping for. I will say Q&A came at a pretty decently close second. So I'll probably prep a Q&A episode here in the next couple of months. But we're going to do 100 quick birth tips. And as I was getting my little notebook out and just literally at the top of the page wrote 100 quick tips and wrote like number 1 and started writing them, I thought, wow, 100 tips about just birth might be a little overwhelming, a bit much. So I actually broke it down into 4 categories. And so instead of 100 quick birth tips, it turned into 25 quick tips for pregnancy, 25 quick tips for labor, 25 quick tips for postpartum, and 25 quick tips for breastfeeding. Wow, that was kind of like a tongue twister. I just finished reading Fox and Socks to my kids tonight for bed, and if you've ever read that, I've yet to do it correctly. It's such a tongue twister. Whew. Okay, so for a matter of time, because if you've been around this podcast long enough, you know that I can talk about birth without even having to think about it. And I can go on and on. I can get on tangents sometimes. And so in order for this episode not to be, 200 minutes long and take a couple minutes for each tip here, instead, I am simply going to try to do my best to just read the tip and move on to the next one, because that's what makes it quick, right? 100 quick birth tips. So I'm really going to not try to explain myself. I'm just going to try and give you the tip and move on to the next one. But if I say something and you have a question like, but why? But like, why would you say that? Please send me a message. Like, please just DM me on Instagram or send me an email or something. Or if you have my number, just text me. And if I get enough repeat questions, then I'll just add that question to the Q&A episode. I'll respond to you regardless. But if you have that question, that means somebody else probably has that question. And so I would love to get those answered in the Q&A episode. So are you guys ready? Because we're going to do this. We're going to do this, the 100th episode. Okay, here we go. Number 1, don't get an early ultrasound. Don't get a confirmation ultrasound. Number 2, research and interview multiple providers before landing on one. Please do not just run to the nearest OBGYN or the one that you've maybe been seeing since you were 15 or something like that. Number 3, announce your pregnancy whenever you want to. That could be the day that you take the tests and it says, yes, you're pregnant, or that could be the day you're holding your baby in your arms. Whenever you want, your decision. Number 4, use a Dollar Tree pregnancy test. Okay, save your money. They work the same way. You don't have to spend $12 or $15 on a test. Go grab a Dollar Tree test. Number 5, not all supplements are created equal. Just can't stress that enough. So choose wisely. Number 6, see a chiropractor early on in your pregnancy, often in your pregnancy, and all the way through your pregnancy. Number 7, create boundaries with unsupportive people. People who don't support the way you want to give birth or your vision for birth. Please set up some boundaries with them. Number 8, read Real Food for Pregnancy by Lily Nichols and consider that your pregnancy nutrition Bible. Number 9, read Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. If you're only going to read one book to get ready for birth, let it be Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. Number 10, balance your activity and rest. You don't have to be constantly active, but please don't be constantly sedentary. Make sure to keep them in balance. Number 11, if you get severe nausea and vomiting, just survive. Please don't try to do all the right things for pregnancy during that season. Please just survive that part of the pregnancy. Number 12, eat way more protein than you think you need, like way more. Focus on protein as much as you possibly can. Number 13, spend more time on your birth prep than your nursery prep. I promise, you won't regret that. Number 14, spend more money on a doula or people on your birth team than you do on your registry or items off of your registry. Please invest wisely. Number 15, you don't have to love pregnancy, but remain grateful, for it is a blessing, and the Lord tells us that children are a blessing. Number 16, whether it's your first baby or your 6th baby, God loves those babies equally, and so will you. So don't even have a second thought about that. Number 17, drink a lot of filtered water. Yes, but please make sure you're also getting your minerals in. Don't over drink water and waste all your minerals. Number 18, get a birth ball or a yoga ball, if that's what you want to call it, and make it your chair, especially in the 3rd trimester. Just make it your new chair. Number 19, if you get a bigger belly like me, use a pregnancy support band. It will save your back and your pelvis. Number 20, take magnesium. Whether it's orally, topically, or both, make sure you're taking some type of magnesium. Number 21, eat animal organs. That's right. I'm just going to leave that right there. Eat animal organs. Number 22, research all vaccines thoroughly before agreeing to any, okay? You can decline everything during your pregnancy and for your newborn. Number 23, there are alternatives to antibiotics if you test GBS positive near the end of your pregnancy. does not automatically mean that you should be hooked up to IV antibiotics during your labor. Research. Number 24, please decline all end of pregnancy ultrasounds. I'm going to leave that there. Don't do it. Number 25, if you want home birth, you can find a way to make it happen. All right. That was pregnancy. Wow, I feel like I did pretty good. We're like, 10 minutes in or something like that? That was good. I'm proud of myself. I really, really wanted to expand on a lot of those. But there will be time for that in future Q&A episode. All right, moving on to labor. Labor, 25 quick tips for labor. Number 1, cervical exams mean almost nothing and are rarely necessary, whether in the office or during actual labor. They're often not needed. Number 2, don't tell the world or even your family that you're in labor. Gosh, it can come with so much pressure. So it's really only the people on your birth team that need to know. Number 3, mentally prepare for a marathon, for days of labor. Get that in your head. And then if it's any shorter than that, then great, awesome. But prepare for it to be several days long so that you're ready. Number 4, choose your birth team wisely because they can make or break a labor. Number 5, in the same vein, choose your birth location wisely because that can also make or break a labor. Just your entire experience, really. Number 6, invite the Holy Spirit into your labor from the start and follow His guidance above anyone else's. Number 7, empty your bladder at least once an hour minimum because you're staying hydrated, right? You're staying hydrated, but we also need to empty that bladder because that full bladder is going to hinder any descent or progression for your baby. Number 8, ignore your contractions until you can't anymore, and that will make labor seem way shorter. Number 9, if labor starts at night, go to bed. Go to sleep. Even if you're only sleeping between contractions, get that sleep. That's what early labor is meant for. Go to bed. First-time moms, I'm talking to you because second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth-time moms already know that. So first-time moms, go to bed if your labor starts at night. Number 10, before your water breaks, have sex with your spouse for the last time in a long time. So if you're in early labor and you know this is probably it, but your water hasn't broken yet, take advantage of that last time that you're going to have. It will also help your labor progress. Number 11, if you are leaving your home for birth, don't overpack. Don't bring 100 things into the birth center or the hospital. I promise you don't need all those. Number 12, if your labor is stalling, do the mile circuit. If you don't know what the mile circuit is, look it up. Number 13, if your water breaks, there is no need to do anything. You don't need to rush anywhere. You don't need to go straight to a hospital. You don't need to call everyone over. It's just part of the natural process. Number 14, only time your contractions if you need to report them to your midwife or your care provider. Otherwise, the intensity of your contractions usually means a lot more than how close together they are. Number 15, counter pressure and hip squeezes go a long way for making contractions more endurable. Promise. Number 16, change positions consistently and try to stay mostly upright as much as you can. Number 17, stay hydrated and snack whenever and however you feel like. Don't, pay attention to like a clear liquids diet if that's what the hospital's telling you need. But don't feel like you need to eat this giant meal if your stomach doesn't feel up to it. Just listen to your body and make sure you're eating and drinking what you feel like eating and drinking. Number 18, don't forget to breathe and relax. having a peaceful labor. Those are like the two most important things, making sure you're breathing, making sure you're relaxing. Okay, your body won't be able to progress if you are uptight and tense. Number 19, focus your mind. Remember, this is a mental battle primarily more than anything else. So don't think about how you physically feel. Don't concentrate on what's going on in the physical. Concentrate on the mental, what is going on in your mind, because I promise you that's 90% of it. 90% of getting through labor, especially in natural labor, is what is going on in that head of yours. Number 20, labor on the toilet. Doesn't sound glamorous, but I promise you it's not called the dilation station for no reason. Whether you're facing forwards or backwards, laboring on the toilet is the best. I prefer backwards with a pillow over the commode. It's actually quite comfortable, and put one foot up on a stool. It's great, but alternate those feet because you're like, will fall asleep. Number 21, if you're being vocal during contractions, if you're making noises during contractions, make sure they are low noises. Think Finding Nemo, Dory speaking whale, or think mooing cows, very low, open jaw, loose noises. Number 22, wait to push until the actual fetal ejection reflex kicks in. Just wait. Even if you're completely dilated, just wait and just keep waiting. Wait until your body starts to do it for you so you don't have to do all that work. Number 23, don't push on your back if you can help it. Please try all the other positions first. And you can change positions during pushing. You don't have to push in the same position the whole time. You can flip-flop all around, just like you do during labor. Number 24, if you or dad wants to catch the baby, you can. Just because an OB or a midwife is in the room does not mean that they need to catch your baby. If you want to catch your baby or your spouse wants to catch your baby, by all means, go for it. And number 25, remember labor, while it usually follows a typical pattern, is, in case-by-case basis, completely unpredictable and can go just about any which way. So with that being said, have those plans, but surrender those plans, right? That's what this is all about. Surrender those plans to the Lord in order to get that peace. Okay, that was labor. I'm doing pretty good. I am quite proud of myself right now. And if you know me and you know me well, you know how easily and long-winded I can be about anything really, but especially about birth. So I'm like biting my lip over here, trying not to expand on these too much and just give you the quick tip like it's supposed to be. Okay, category number 3, 25 quick tips for postpartum. And this is like immediate postpartum, like right after the baby comes out, and then also that extended postpartum, like when you've been at home for several weeks or months. All right, number 1, wait to deliver that placenta until it's ready. Okay, don't let your provider tug on the cord because they're in a hurry. Please just wait until you feel like pushing. And honestly, if you just stand up, it usually just comes right out. Number 2, don't clamp or cut that cord until after you deliver the placenta. That way, you know, baby gets all the blood that they need. And that's really standard of care at most home birth practices and even birth centers. So hospitals, the oddball out there. Number 3, keep that baby skin to skin for at least an hour or two right after they're born, but then as much as you can in those first several days. In weeks even, honestly. That's going to be their happy place and it's going to help y'all bond. Number 4, try to latch the baby and nurse the baby within the first hour of life. The sooner they latch tends to usually be the better. They'll latch going on unless there's some sort of tie issue. So get that baby on that breast as soon as you can. I know labor was usually long and hard and quite the experience, but it will benefit your breastfeeding journey greatly to get them latched sooner rather than later. Number 5, Research every routine newborn procedure, okay? Because they're not all necessary and you can decline any that you don't want. I promise you. Number 6, don't bathe your baby right after they come out, especially. And you really don't even have to do it for a while, like for weeks even. And when you do, you don't need soap. Their skin is so sensitive. Warm water goes a long way, and it's usually just under their neck that really even gets any kind of grossness at all. Number 7, if you have stitches, keep those legs together, but also try Manuka honey on them. That can really help aid in the healing process. Number 8, rest. Like actually rest. Take that 5-5-5 rule seriously and rest, rest, rest. Number 9, nourish yourself with good food postpartum. This is as important, if not more important, than it was in pregnancy. I know a lot of people think, oh, pregnancy, I got to watch what I eat and all this stuff. But then after I have the baby, I'm like, it's free game. It's not. You want to make sure you're nourishing yourself that much better after you have the baby. Number 10, prepare yourself for after pains. Especially if this is not your first child, which with each subsequent child, the after pains get more and more and more intense. So prepare for that. Number 11, lay large towels down in your bed to catch all sorts of bodily fluids. Okay, your fluids and your baby's, because trust me, changing out a towel at 3:00 in the morning is much easier than changing all of your sheets or than being forced to sleep in a pile of curdled milk. All right, number 12, prep freezer meals and snacks ahead of time, like before postpartum, so that you can have them during postpartum, and prep more than you think you'll need because you'll go through them more quickly than you think you will. Number 13, have a close friend or family member start a meal train for you. And that doesn't mean all these people have to come see you. It can simply mean them dropping off food on your porch, but food is going to be, it's always necessary, especially if you have other children in the house who need to be fed. But you should be resting and in bed. So get that meal train started. Number 14, charge admittance for people to see the baby. I'm very serious about this. No one except maybe your 95-year-old grandpa, which this is what I have my example, my 95-year-old papa, I didn't charge him admittance. But if anyone is at all capable, they need to earn their right to see that baby. So they need to bring you food, or they need to do your dishes, or they need to fold your laundry, or they should be doing something. They should come bearing diapers. It's not a free pass just to come over and hold your baby. This is a time when you need support and help. And so you should be holding your baby while they are holding you. Number 15, let people help you and ask for help. And this is sort of kind of goes with number 14. But if you're that type of person who doesn't like asking for help or likes doing everything by yourself, this is a season where you need to lay that down because it's just going to be the most beneficial for you and your baby if people are able to help you, your spouse included. Number 16, after a couple of weeks of that rest, get outside daily. Every day, get outside at some point. The longer, the better. I know different weather affects that, but even if it's 32 degrees, put on a coat and hat and get outside. Number 17, lavish in your postpartum body and be proud of every stretch mark, okay? You earned that, and you created an entire human, grew them in your womb for 9 to 10 months, labored with them, pushed them out of your body, and you're now nursing them and continuing to be the reason that they're alive. So just be proud of it. Be proud of your postpartum body. Number 18, remember that your spouse came first and keep your marriage a priority, okay? Oh man, I am starting to expand. Okay. All right. Moving on. Number 19, trust the instincts that God gave you. Don't self-doubt in your parenting and your caretaking of your children. If you feel like you need to ask someone, the first person you should ask is the Holy Spirit. Number 20, everybody has an opinion on how you should care for your baby. Literally the whole world. I think you should be an educated parent, but I think you should do what you feel like God is telling you to do above all else. And this is on everything from passies to swaddles to nap schedules to everything. You'd be amazed how many spectrums there are in the parenting world of people on opposite sides of the spectrum with completely opposite opinions on how you should do things. So ask God what you should do. Number 21, don't be afraid to let your baby sleep in your bed with you. And I'm going to leave that right there. Number 22, if you're choosing a pediatrician, choose wisely. Number 23, 6 weeks is not a magical number to have sex again. Promise. You should do what you feel like is right for you, and that can fluctuate baby to baby if you've had multiple babies. But whenever you and your spouse do decide that it's time again, take it slow and steady and use lots of lubrication. Number 24, have a reentry plan for church or small group or the things that you're involved in, okay? I understand if you have a baby in the middle of winter and not wanting to go to church for a couple months. I get that. Totally get that. Sick season, cold, all the things. Get it. But don't let that be a reason to not go back to church for a year, okay? I see that so often, especially now that churches have online services. It has become more and more common for couples just to watch it from the couch on Sunday mornings. But I challenge you after those I used to go back after a week or two. That was probably a little too early. But I challenge you after those first few months at least to get back to church. Know that it'll be different. It'll take you longer. You'll probably be late, but make that effort. Number 25, so last one for this category, postpartum lasts much longer than 6 weeks, okay? So number 1, savor it. Savor it because it is such a precious time. Enjoy it, but also give yourself grace because it is as much difficult as it is joyful. All right, we're going to round it out with 25 quick tips for breastfeeding. Woo! Here we go. Number 1, breastfeeding. It is natural, but that doesn't mean it comes naturally, especially in our culture today when people aren't used to growing up around it and seeing it constantly and having, aunts and sisters and cousins and moms and grandmothers and all the things nursing around them. So give yourself that grace. There's a learning curve. Number 2, a good latch means pretty much everything. And if your latch isn't right, it will lead to problems, all sorts of problems. So getting a good latch is the foundation of breastfeeding. Number 3, try side lying nursing, okay? Try nursing laying on your side, especially at night when you're trying to sleep. It will change your life, your postpartum life especially. Number 4, if you have flat nipples or inverted nipples, check on that before your baby is born and try to help bring them out before your baby is born so that your baby will have an easier time latching once they're born. Sometimes when your nipples are super flat or inverted, it's really hard to get a baby to latch in those first few days especially. Number 5, nurse that baby on demand. There is no such thing as a newborn schedule. I promise you. You will drive yourself crazy if you try to make one. There's such thing as lots and lots of cluster feeding, that's for sure. But nurse that baby on demand. Number 6, if your baby is full term and gaining weight, you do not need to wake them up to feed them. Pay no attention to the hospital every 2 to 3 hour. They must wake to feed. Don't worry about that. If they're full term and they're gaining weight, they are fine. Several of my babies, especially in the early weeks, would randomly give me like a 6-hour stretch or sometimes an 8-hour stretch. And it wasn't consistent, but when it would happen, it was like, oh my gosh, your breast would fill up with milk and you'd be wondering what's going on, but they need sleep as much as they need that food. Number 7, you do not have to burp a breastfed baby unless they're acting really fussy. Promise you, it's not. That's a lot more for bottle feeding. Number 8, nursing your baby to sleep is not a bad habit. It is a God-designed and ordained one. You will realize as you watch them nurse to sleep, they feel the safest and most satisfied in that situation. Number 9, don't wear a bra for those first few weeks or months. Let your nipples and your breasts breathe as often as possible. So letting them get air, letting things get space, it will help you dramatically. Number 10, before trying any supplements for a low milk supply, please first try to just nurse more often and take away all passies and bottles of any kind. Don't jump straight to supplements. Number 11, if you get engorged, especially right away, treat it aggressively and immediately because people think low milk supply is an issue, but engorgement can lead to a lot of issues if you do not treat it. Number 12, if you're engorged, don't pump. You will elongate the problem. Temporary relief, sure, but you just extended your engorgement. Number 13, if you pay attention to them, your baby will actually cue you in that they are hungry before they start crying. So don't wait till they cry to latch them. Watch them because they're giving you signals ahead of time. Number 14, be aware of growth spurts, okay? You remember having those as a kid, but they start as soon as you're born. And prepare to settle in when your baby is going through one. Number 15, if you are going to be leaving your baby to go back to work of some kind, like some kind of work outside the home, you do not need a gigantic stockpile of milk in your freezer in order to do that. I promise you really only need a few days worth. Number 16, if you are going to be pumping often, get a pumping bra. It is so much better than having to hold the bottles up to your breast constantly. Number 17, if you're not engorged, okay, because you want to make sure that's handled first, use a haka to catch your letdowns in order to store milk instead of having to have like separate pumping sessions. If that doesn't make any sense to you, please talk to me. Number 18, wait to introduce the bottle until breastfeeding is very established between you and your baby, till you feel like you have a hang of it, you feel like they have the hang of it, and it feels like normal and almost second nature to you. Wait to do the bottle until then. This is usually somewhere around a month old. Number 19, if your baby gets a bottle at any point, you need to pump or else your supply will go down. Some women have no issues with their supply the first few months and then they'll go back to work or something and they will not keep up pumping as much as their baby's getting a bottle and their supplies will drop. Number 20, breast milk can sit at room temperature way longer than formula. So it's kind of magical that way. God designed it beautifully, and I want to go into so much more detail about that, but I don't have time. Number 21, if you ever have to supplement for your baby, donated breast milk will always be better than formula. So always try to get donated breast milk first. Number 22, don't use hormonal birth control. I say ever, but especially if you're breastfeeding, because it will mess with your supply. Number 23, breastfed diapers can look pretty funky, but almost everything you see and smell is normal. There'll be like a transitional week that first week, and then it gets pretty much the same. But I quite prefer them over formula diapers. They smell better. I know that sounds funny, but the smell is way easier to tolerate than a formula diaper. Number 24, babies don't automatically wean themselves at 6 months or a year or something like that. That is not, whatever your standard American pediatrician says. Babies will want to continue to nurse much longer. And while it looks different than it does when they were a newborn, it is absolutely normal and natural for babies to continue to nurse as they are toddlers, as they are 1, 2, 3, and even 4 years old. And if you want to learn more about that, you'll have to take my class. All right. And number 25, this is our last tip. This is technically tip number 100. Okay. Lean on Jesus every step of the way. Let him be your guide through pregnancy, through labor, through postpartum, through your breastfeeding journey. Let him be your guide. Obviously, people like me, we are here to help you, with your specific questions. But if you are tossing and turning over things, give it to Jesus. Just pray to him and make sure you are following him as your main guide through this entire journey. Wow, we did it. 100 quick birth tips. When I first thought of that, I thought, wow, that's too many. That is going to take forever. But that would only be if I explained each and every one as thoroughly as I wanted to explain them. So if you heard a tip and you had a question about it, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to answer your question. And also, if I get enough of those, we will put that question on the Q&A episode that will come up here in the next few months. Okay, y'all. 100 episodes are officially released, and that, such a milestone. Here's something that you could do to help this podcast. If you love this podcast as much as I do, or maybe even half as much as I do, since I do it. But if you could do me a favor and share this podcast, share it on your social media, your Facebook page, your Instagram stories and Instagram post, share it with friends or family, text people individually. They love that. Like, I know I'm much more likely to listen to a podcast if someone sends me, like a specific podcast or a specific episode or a few episodes from a podcast or something, just to me. Or, whether it's somebody that like an acquaintance, or somebody deeply, like maybe your sister or your best friend, please share this podcast. This is a very much a grassroots effort of a podcast. We have no formal advertising or marketing or anything of any kind. There's no budget for that. I don't get paid for this. It's a passion project, but I want to spread the word. We are following the Lord's guidance and continuing to do this as we feel called to do. And every time somebody tells me how much this podcast helped them in their pregnancy, that means the world to me. But I want it to be able to help more people, more women out there that are pregnant and expecting, whether it's their first or second or sixth, like mine. So if you could please, it costs you no money at all, I promise. If you could just share this podcast with other people, 1 person, 10 people, that would be amazing. Social media, personally through a text, whatever and everything, all routes would be great. That would just mean the world to me. It would be like let's say a birthday present, but a 100th episode present is for y'all to share this. So thank you so much. Thank you for my loyal listeners who have been there since episode 1, almost 2 years ago. Thank you for any brand new listeners that we have. Maybe this is the very first episode you've ever listened to. So just so grateful that y'all are here. Thank you for being with me through this milestone. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. You can reach me at Surrendered Birth Services on Instagram or email me at contact@surrenderedbirthservices.com. Be sure not to miss an episode by hitting the follow button. Also, we'd love for you to leave a written review of the show so that more people's births and lives can be changed by the love of Jesus and the empowerment of accurate birth education. If you really enjoyed this episode in particular, please take a screenshot of it and post it to your Instagram story, tagging Surrendered Birth Services. If you would like to be a guest on the Surrendered Birth Stories podcast, please click the link in the episode show notes to fill out your interest form. Also, if you're interested in taking my childbirth classes, birth consultations, or having me as your birth doula, please click on the link in the show notes to take you to my website for online and in-person options. Just as a reminder, this show is not giving medical advice, so please continue to see your personal care provider as needs arise. We hope you have a great week, and remember, learn all that you can, make the best plans, and then leave it in God's hands.
I need to go potty really quick. Well, hopefully quick. Don't be distracted.
I'm distracted. I'll be waiting until you go back in the closet to finish. Brinkley's been hiding in the closet because I'm doing this late at night while Chris is out of town and all the boys are in bed. She promised she would be silent in there, and she was pretty silent, but she just came out to use the bathroom, and now I'm totally thrown for a loop. Where was I? Don't wear a bra. Don't wear a bra.